Hey guys, I'm back. Welcome to another video. I'm just gonna get to the point today, not today, but this month, no, not this month. This month marks 6 months since I've installed this shelf behind me. It has been a whirlwind of a 6 months. I, at one point, was starting to regret even putting it up and trying to acclimatize my anthuriums out because we kind of went through it. Some plants just really did not like it. Some plants acted like nothing happened, but we're at the 6 month mark now, and I kind of just want to show you how everything looks like. I can't remember if in my plant shelf video I showed you guys all of the plants on there in the current condition, but I do have a pretty good idea of what everything has gone through, what each plant has seen, they've been through, and I can just quickly walk you through each of the plants and just kind of like, yeah, show you where they are now, let you know if they've been doing well or if, you know, they took a dump in the first few months. But I felt like the 6 month mark was a good place to start to document how everything is doing, just because there's been an explosion of growth. We're right here in the thick of summer, and I think that it would be nice to sort of document where everything is now so that in another 6 months we can come here again and sort of revisit everything. So the shelf has evolved a lot. It used to just be anthuriums, but I've sort of sprinkled in a lot of my philodendrons. You can see my big, you guys have known that my glorious has been living back here. I will do a thorough watering and fertilization today because I have been very lazy with my fertilization. I've really just been fertilizing all my plants through my sprayer. And if you guys use a sprayer, you know that if you're using it as a fertilizer, there's not a ton of fertilizer that's going in there, because I'm not going to stand there and just, you know, for like 5 minutes on each plant. So I'm really just like spraying, whatever they get. But if I had to make an estimate, I feel like each plant, every time I spray, is getting like half a teaspoon of fertilizer. Yeah, I do want to kind of give everybody a good meal today because there has been an explosion of growth, and I just feel like they're kind of due for like a good feeding. I'm just going to start by pulling out each one, showing you what they are, giving you a hopefully quick sort of blurb on our journey so far, and then yeah, we'll wrap it up. But before we start, I just picked up Alice's birthday gift today, and I can show it in this video because, yes, her birthday is before. Her birthday will have come before this video goes out. So let me show you. She is going to flip. She has been wanting a UPI for as long as I've known her, and that's kind of a long time now. And it's just never really been in her budget. I feel like the price of them has kind of stayed pretty steady. Do I look super tan, or is it just this lighting, or is it just because I'm wearing a lot of lipstick? Why do I look so tan? Do I look tan? What is it? Okay, anyway. So yeah, picked her up a UPI from North Shore Tropicals. I will be paying this thing off for a while. But I'm just ready for her to shut up about it, to be honest. I'm tired of her seeing them and not being able to have one. And Lauren made sure to chop her favorite leaf for her that she saw in the shop. So yeah, I'm excited to give this one to her. And if you guys want to see her reaction of receiving her gift, watch my week of plant to-dos that will go up this month, actually. Either this month or in September. It's going to be in one of those. But yeah, I plan to do oh, there's little predatory mites on here. I plan to do a week of plant to-dos starting the week of her birthday week, so that we can kind of document everything. But yeah, I feel like she's not gonna cry, but she's gonna be super shook. Oh, also the elephant in the room. Yes, my tent is back here now. I did yet another rejig of the plant room, which I will show you in September, I think. It's not like a huge change, but it's a change regardless. So the first one that we have here is, I need to pluck this stem off. Okay, so the first plant that I have here is my Anthurium forgetii. This was actually a prop from my mother plant, and this one went through it all. It honestly did. This is the one that I kept, if you guys remember from previous videos, I kept telling you I had a forgetty eye that my friend Amanda would yell at me for because I would just let it dry out so much. This is the one. I don't know if this one specifically is just very thirsty or if the substrate I had it in was always just too dry, or like it dried out too fast, but I have since then repotted it into a bigger vessel so that I can hold more water in here. Lots of algae, which is not bad, but yeah, it seems to have taken to it pretty well. I don't know what this is all about, but yeah, this is my one that we just kind of always go back and forth. I feel like ever since it was struggling, I did my part in trying to get it into a better place, but I just feel like this guy needs to meet me halfway, because it's been kind of ridiculous. It's interesting. Look how red this what is it? Where the petiole meets the leaf. It's so pink and red. It doesn't even look as red on camera, but it's super red. But this one's not. Because I never noticed that. Anywho, oh my gosh, there's perlite down here. The next one is, oh, this is one of the Philodendron gloriosums that I imported from Tropicals Plants? I actually can't remember. Okay, so this was one of my recent imports, and my friends and I were kind of hoping that if we ordered gloriosums that a different form would come. I feel like a lot of us have been trying to do that because it happened last time. We ordered regular gloriosums. We paid for regular gloriosums and we got the gloriosum zebra or dark form, white veins. We got something, but it wasn't the regular verdes, but we didn't get so lucky this time. Sorry, I'm gonna be doing some like pest inspections while I'm talking and while I'm sitting here, just because I might as well. But yeah, this one acclimatized like a dream. It literally did not undergo any stress after importing it. There was like zero stress, there was zero fuss. It just kind of wanted to live. These two leaves, actually all three of these leaves are brand new, and then the little tiny leaves on this one died off. So yeah, doing just fine. I'm not really sure what the plan is for this because I don't need any more gloriosums. I might just bring it to California and let my mom give it to one of my aunts or something, but yeah, I definitely don't need it. Oh my gosh, you guys, I think that this is my most algae-ridden vessel. Amanda, don't look. Don't look. That's not okay. It's like blue. Oh my gosh. I think I need to get this out of here like stat. Okay, anyway, so this is my most algae-ridden vessel, and it's also the most expensive and one of the most prized plants in my collection. This is my Anthurium Ace of Spades. Got this one from my friend Amanda. This one also got spider mites, unfortunately. You can kind of see the oldest leaf was attacked the worst, and I do also think it's just dying off because this new guy is coming in. Although he has been this size for approximately 2.5 weeks. A part of me thinks he's done and it's the tiniest little thing, but I need to get it out of here, and I also don't want it to be living in a vessel that is like creating a new kind of bacteria that is not known to mankind yet. Besides spider mites on this thing, which was a big problem that I had on the shelf, because you know they're all in the same area now, they're not contained into their own greenhouses. The likelihood of getting pests is higher when you have something just out in the open. So we did have a full outbreak on the shelf. This is one of them that I got. But other than that, it did not really have any trouble adjusting to humidity or temperatures or anything. This one has been kind of a champ, so I'm grateful for that in this way, but I do need to take care of this one a little bit more. I feel like I've just been a little lazy. I'm not liking the lighting. I don't know. Do I look tanner to you guys? Why do I look so different? Whatever. Next one is this Anthurium Crystal Mag. This was one of the props that I took from, I don't know, came from somewhere. But this one is going to my sister. It is not fully hardened off yet, but I really don't think it's gonna get any larger than this. So yeah, and it's fully acclimatized. It's, oh, by the way, it's like without the humidifier on, normally it's like 30% humidity. So yeah, it's super, super low humidity, but this one did not have any problem coming out of the Cetaphil. And yeah, I just think that this one is going to do a lot better in her collection than if I were to give her another one. Here's that clarinervium from Lauren. So many of my friends have tried to get me to have success with clarinerviums. I've had friends give me mature plants. I've had friends give me seedlings. I've had friends give me their own homegrown plants. Unfortunately, I killed the one that Amanda gave me, which was a really, really tiny seedling. Yeah, that one just did not like me. Is that a gnat? But this one has done fairly okay. It doesn't look the best. It does look kind of light in color, and I think that it's way overdue for both a repot and a fertilization. And also this one got attacked by spider mites. You can see the damage on this leaf. I really don't think any of my anthuriums came out unscathed in that that thrips outbreak. They all, not thrips, well, there was thrips and spider mite outbreak. Not all of them got thrips, but all of them got spider mites. So basically, for any plant I bring out, it had spider mites at some point. This one, I mean, I had this one growing in my, what is this? Millsbow? In my Millsbow for a little bit, and then I took it out because it started to get too tall. But yeah, this one needs a repot, or I at least need to get like a lazy pole strap around this guy and layer it with like moss or more soil or something, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is what I mean. Sorry, this is another one of my forgetty eyes. I just used like a lazy pole strap, and I just hooked it and kind of put it around the stem that was growing above the substrate. And I got that idea from when do you guys remember when I potted that El Choco? Super weird. I had it in a no drainage vessel, and then I cut like this plastic cup and I sat it on top of the Lechuzapon, and I filled more Lechuzapon. Well, everyone was like, what is the point of that? Where is this going? And truth be told, I had no idea, but the El Choco loved it a lot. It rooted like crazy on the stem. The growth difference was pretty tremendous. And yeah, I really liked it, except I didn't like the process of putting the cup on there. I didn't like the fact that I had to deconstruct a perfectly good cup just to do that. So I was like, well, I've got all this freaking plastic for these lazy poles, and it's so much easier to just cut a strip and tie it around. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, and I've been trying to just get some, oh, it's working. Look at that. So this is just in tree fern fiber, but let me kind of show you what's going on under here now. It just had this long sort of awkward stem, and so I put the lazy pole strap over it, and you guys, oh, can you? There's like a big juicy root right here. Do you guys see it? Right there. So it worked. I mean, that's good. Also, just a spoiler alert on my Trouble in Anthurium Dice video, when I moved this to pond, or when I moved this to tree fern fiber. Freaking loved it. It loved it so much, and it's pushing out a new leaf right now. So I'm hoping to have a little bit more luck with this guy, and yeah. It's just, we've had a long road with this one, and I feel like I'm just not that great with forgetty eyes for some reason. Some people find them to be so easy, but I don't really find them to be all that easy. This one is a super random one, but I moved my philodendron white princess onto the shelf as well, just because I didn't really know a good place for it. It was sort of doing this weird thing in my exo, and I didn't know if it was fungal or if it was burning or something, or from like water sitting on the leaves, but I had this one in good airflow. It was right by the fans, and these burns didn't come out until like way after the leaf was hardened. Like this one right here, this new leaf, like it was a perfect leaf, and then this little spot appeared, but that appeared when it was already on this shelf. because I was pretty sure, like when I took it out of the tent, I was like, yeah, it's probably because the humidity is super high. I'm spraying in there. Maybe it's not enough airflow. But yeah, now that it's on this shelf and I'm not really spraying here because I don't want the water to get on the walls, yeah, it just appeared, and now I can start to see it sort of forming here. I think I talked to my group chat about this, and they were saying that, like, they say the royals tend to do this, like the pink princess, the white knight, white wizard, those kinds of plants. So if you guys have any insight for me, let me know. This one doesn't have any pests or anything. It's just, yeah, these weird brown spots. Oh my gosh. Okay, so next one up, this is a good one to show you. This is my anthurium pappy hybrid. It's some kind of pappy hybrid. I don't know exactly which hybrid it is, but it came out of Indonesia. Again, spider mites. You can see a lot of the damage on the leaf. It looks very dusty and like white. A big problem that I was having on my anthurium shelf when I first got my anthuriums out here is because of the lower humidity, my leaves were coming out really, really wonky like this, and it's kind of still happening to some of them. You could tell just by the shape of like the petiole. You can tell by the shape of the petiole and then how it sort of comes back that way that it had a little bit of trouble coming out of the sheath. And then you guys can see here, it's still furled up. It's still furled up, but it's already ripped right there, and it's ripping right here as well. And that is because I have not been spraying this thing. When I spray it, like the emergent leaf, while it's sort of still really small and curled up, the chances of this happening is a lot lower, but I did not give this one any kind of attention, and I'm paying the price because it's gonna be really, really mangled. I don't even think this is gonna be a nice leaf at all, but this is kind of what I was dealing with for the first few months when I got my anthuriums out here. I'll show you an example of a leaf that came out just fine when I was spraying it. Like, it looked like it had a little bit of trouble at the beginning, but then as soon as I started spraying it, it just emerged just fine. But yeah, right now, like if I'm missing them, then oftentimes it'll turn out like this. There have only been a very few anthuriums on here that have emerged fine without assistance, one being my Vitarifolium. For the most part, I do still need to help a lot of them out just by spraying. I don't have to really like pluck them out with a scraper or anything. I just have to spray them. The next one is some kind of random anthurium. I showed this in, I think it was a week of plant to-dos, and I was like, what the heck is this? And I think I'm realizing that it's one of Nick's plants that I rehabbed. He had this random anthurium, and I have a vague memory of chopping it because it wasn't doing that well, and I was like, okay, well, if I can start a new plant for him that I can give him back, then that's like insurance for me. I think this is it. I don't really know what to call this. In terms of the texture, it reminds me of those anthuriums that you buy from the grocery store with like the big red flowers or whatever, but it's obviously not quite that. The emergent leaves are really cute. Nick trusted me to care for his plants. And I didn't do a great job with some of them, but I am glad that at least this one has come back alive and I can give him something back, like, hi, sorry I killed your very large plant, but here's a smaller one as a token of my sincere apologies that will actually fit in your anthurium shelf. Yeah, nothing really much to say about this. Like, really all of my props that grew on this wall have been doing pretty okay. It's really just the ones that have been living in a greenhouse that struggled a bit, but yeah, these ones are seemingly okay. You guys, you can see on this leaf right here that it's got a little bit of these like weird markings, and then it also ripped and is sort of warped right here. For me, I've found that typically when you have leaves that look like this, it can be a nutrition deficiency, and I've corrected it with CalMag. I don't think I've ever fertilized this before, so it would make sense that it just looks a little bit mangled. But then also, to me, it also looks like a sign of low humidity, because sometimes when the leaves are like curved like this, or like one side of the leaf is like significantly smaller than the other, which is why it kind of bends at a weird angle, it is because of low humidity. And anthuriums can grow in low humidity, and they actually do pretty well in low humidity. But when you have low humidity and also high temperatures, that combination is not the greatest. It's really hot in here. Like, it's like 10 degrees warmer in this room, and it's because of all the grow lights. I do plan to eventually remove my Mars Hydro light from the top of that shelf, because I think a lot of the heat source is coming from that light. It's so bright, it's so hot, and I just think that it would cool this room down significantly if I removed it. And I definitely want to do it before my trip, because my plants are gonna roast in here without me. I do plan on doing a video showing you how I'm gonna prep for that trip. So also, oh, you would have watched it already. Oh wait, I'm getting confused. No, you wouldn't have watched it yet. I think it's gonna go up shortly after this video. Oh my gosh, I can't keep track of my schedule anymore. Here's another sneaky peeky update on one of the anthuriums that I worked on in my SOS rehabs video from August. This was that sort of weird, interesting, very rehabby anthurium that I got from Lauren. The stem rotted, the roots rotted, and I just wanted to start over. I didn't want to have to deal with working with roots that were just like okay. I was like, you know what, let's just start fresh. So I chopped off all the roots and I just stuck it in some hydrogen peroxide water, and we have so many roots. Like, that is freaky and disgusting but beautiful. So beautiful. It reminds me of do you guys remember those like balls that, okay, that was not a good way to word it. Do you remember that ball we used to have as kids? I'm talking to you 80s, early 90s kids. It was that ball, and it was made out of like rubber and had these little like weird spikes on it, and it like rattled, and you put it on the floor and it just like bounced everywhere. Totally reminds me of that. But yeah, these roots are beautiful. If you guys didn't know, rehabbing anthuriums in water is amazing. I did it a lot. I realized that I liked rooting anthuriums in water when I started importing, mostly because I always do like a soak for my plants in water for like 3 days up to a week in just straight water, because I feel like it hydrates the plant a lot before you move it to moss. But sometimes I would get lazy and just not ever move it, and I just noticed that like all of, not even just anthuriums, but like my philodendrons, they would just root so freaking fast. Yeah, I'm gonna wait till it gets a little bit longer than this, and then I'm gonna move this one to pond, because I don't want the water roots to get too long before I transition it. I would feel much better about transitioning something that had only a little bit amount of water roots, and then I can keep growing it in a passive hydro situation. Anyway, I've talked way too long about this plant, but yeah, if you guys were wondering how that plant is doing, she's doing, I mean, the leaf doesn't look great, but she's doing all right. Oh my word. Oh no. Very quickly, this is another one of the import gloriosums that I got from my last import. And again, the plants were in incredible condition from Tropicals Plants, and they did not skip a beat at all. They just, it was like in better condition than some people sell plants here locally. I'm not even joking. I can't even take credit for acclimatizing them, really. Like, this one's in a freaking Tupperware, but I've had so many new leaves. Like, that's brand new, this is brand new. A lot of the older leaves have died off, but the new growth has been very generous and very cute. So this is another one that I'll probably take to California, just because, again, I do not need a million bajillion gloriosums. I'm on thrips alert. I don't really care about spider mites. I know that spider mites are around. It's not as bad as it was before. I just want to make sure that there are no thrips out and about before my trip. But anyway, this is that, don't. This is that monstera that I had that I believed with my whole heart was a different kind of form, just because of the thickness of the leaves and just how these fenestrations look. It's all been pretty like steady in terms of like the way the leaves look, but look at how perfect this leaf is. It's so darn cute. I had such a hard time rooting this plant. It's still in the whatever situation it was in before, a very perlite heavy pot mix, because the roots kept rotting, the stem kept rotting, and I don't even remember how many times I've rehabbed this thing. But she's a difficult one. But we've come pretty far. Like the older leaves are like really mangled and gross, but I feel like I'm on my way to having like a cute little monstera. And even if this is not a different form of monstera and it's just a regular monstera, I like the features of this one. I feel like it's really cute, so I'm happy to have it regardless of what it is. But yeah, this one unfurled in here just fine. Didn't have to spray it, no nothing. She is a trooper. I thought it was a spider. I can't believe I caught that on camera. I don't know if I want to include that or not. Jeez Louise. Okay, so this is one of my last remaining elbow props for my friend Pearl. We're not sure yet if she wants to sell this or if she wants to keep it for her house. But the reason why she's like hoarding these elbows is because she just bought a house. She has a lot of space to basically put an elbow in every room, and that's like her favorite plant ever. I feel like I've shown enough elbows on this channel. I've already given her all of the props that I had. I gave her all the mother plant back. I have no more elbows left in this house besides this one. She keeps telling me to keep one, but I chopped a stem cutting for myself and then that died. So I feel like that was like an omen or like a sign to tell me to just back off the variegated monsteras and just kind of leave it to everyone else. But I didn't even know that this new leaf came out. It's so pretty. This leaf got hit pretty badly with thrips like beginning of 2021 or something, and you can see some of the thrips damage that it left behind, that like very coppery looking color, all those little like orange brown bumps. That is telltale thrips damage, but we handled it. It was a situation for a while, but all of the plants I gave back to her were thrips free, and they've been thrips free for a long time. It just took a lot of systemic, it took a lot of thrip spray and predatory mites, but I would be lying if I said I wasn't relieved that I only have one of these left in my house to care for, which I think now that we have a leaf, I'll probably give it back to her sometime soon. It's been pretty fun to grow these. I much prefer growing and propagating elbows over Thai constellations. If you guys have been here a while, you know those are not allowed in my house anymore. This next one is a plant I have never shown on this channel before, only because it's somewhat newly acquired. And this was a philodendron, I think white veins, that I got from Jing, and she was just having so much trouble with it. It had this like sort of weird fungally thing where it would just sort of turn yellow around the edges of the leaf blade, and she was like, listen, you might have better luck than I do, and this is how I'm doing. So I don't know, that's all I have to say about it. There is a new leaf coming, and it didn't seem to have any trouble coming out of the caterpillar, but now the question is, will it unfurl? I have not been spraying this thing. Truth be told, I did not even know it had a new leaf until right now. But we're not doing too great on this one, and I've never had this one in a greenhouse since I've had it. I've always had it out, so that could be the problem as well. She had this one growing in her tent the entire time, but I was like, I'm not gonna put this in my tent. I think what I'm gonna do is just quickly show you guys these two plants that I always show you guys, but I want to kind of clear this out because then I'm gonna water all the plants and fertilize all the plants I just showed you, and then get it back in there, and then we'll move on to the next shelf, because I think if I just take everything out, it's gonna be a nightmare. So let's just show you how my majestic is doing. She's getting big. I moved this one from this location and I moved it into this EXO next to me, and it got absolutely obliterated by that grow light, and it does not look like it on camera, but it is so bleached. Well, I think you guys, yeah, you guys can see it. It's so freaking bleached. It was super, super close to the grow light, and I should have known better, but I was like, you know what? Let's ride it out. Let's see how she does, because I really liked seeing her so high up, and like when you walk into the plant room, the first thing you saw was this big majestic, well, besides this massive glorious. But yeah, it's just, I had to take it down pretty soon after I realized that this leaf was turning bright yellow. So never again. Low light and like basically no light is like what this plant wants. But yeah, the leaves are getting, they're pretty big. I've shown this plant a few times in a few videos. I tried to take a little break from it because I feel like I was just bombarding you guys with the majestic and the Florida philodendron glorious like every freaking week. But we've got a new leaf coming out, and I don't remember, come on, I don't remember any of my emergent leaves looking so bright red. Like this is the reddest rocket I've seen so far on any majestic, so that's really exciting. I did extend this pole. It was on a D-shaped pole, and then I got a lazy pole on top of it. I just kind of shoved it in there, and you guys can see the roots inside of it. So I am not going to have any trouble at all chopping this down and getting it onto a new pole, because I really don't plan on extending this anymore, especially since these leaves are like so small. I would much rather just, whoa, maybe chop like right here and then get this onto a bottom of a pole and start over. And then that way I'll have a bunch of majestic to propagate and add to my collection. But yeah, just quickly wanted to show you that. Got some like nice bright new roots on here, lots of new roots in the vessel, and this one has been growing like a dream outside of a greenhouse. Honestly, I would recommend you grow your majestic outside of a greenhouse. I just feel like this has done so much better outside than it ever did inside any EXO or in my tent. I don't remember if I ever had it in my tent. I don't think I did. Yeah, that thing is, she's a trooper, that one. Next one is something you guys always see, obviously. This is the philodendron glorious. This is the newest leaf on it, this guy right here, and you can see this emergent leaf sort of poking out of the sinus. They're doing some sexy things right now together, but yeah, it looks like it's going to be another big leaf. I did just extend the moss on this one because it was sort of exposed for a while, and oh my gosh, it was like, oh, thank you, I love you, because look at these new roots. These are like brand new, like this is within the last few days. I had the moss maybe up to here and I just kept forgetting to fill it, so I just packed it one day. It's today is Saturday. I probably packed moss in here like last Friday, and it's already just like pushing out so many new roots. So I actually fertilized the pole on this one in an Instagram story. Yeah, I won't need to be doing any fertilizing on this plant today because I just fertilized it, but I do need to fertilize my majestic. But guys, this thing is, why am I even trying to carry it? Oh, now you can't see it. Oh my gosh, this new leaf is gonna freaking poke me. So now that this shelf is clear, I'm going to scooch you guys over this way and we're going to do some fertilization, and I'll just show you how I mix my fertilizer. And I'm going to, off camera, just give this a quick little vacuum and wipe down. Shelf 1 of 3 down. As you can see, my luxurians looks pretty pristine. It like almost has no visible cosmetic damage. A lot of people find the Lux really hard to grow. I don't really have that problem. I just feel like I just do what I do and it just continues to thrive and just looks so beautiful and is just really living up to the luxurians hype. I don't really give this one any attention. I don't give it any love, and it just continues to bless me with these leaves that are just immaculate. Absolutely no cosmetic damages at all. It's just the perfect plant. Sorry to anyone who can't grow luxurians but can't relate. Obviously, I was just kidding. First off, I've never even grown a luxurians leaf. This was given to me by Erin. She trusted me. I told her not to trust me. She trusted me anyway. And here we go. So it was already sort of showing signs of a very weird sort of fungal-y thing when I acquired it, but it was definitely not this bad. Like, look at how disgusting, vile, and bad personality that looks. I hate it. I actually was pretty tempted to just chop off all the leaves, start from scratch, and just see if I could grow it from a stump, and I just haven't had the guts to do it because I feel so bad because so much of the leaf is fine. Wish I could say the same for this guy. Number one, it's in moss, and I don't like anthuriums in moss. It was growing fine with Erin for the most part because her basement is super cold, her tent is cold, but honestly, this thing just hated every moment of being in my house, and it definitely was not afraid to tell me that it hated me. And wow, that's crunchy. That is crunchy. I actually had an emergent leaf on this one, which is right here. Blew that. So yeah, it's just, I really can't say much about this plant right now because it's a newer acquisition. I haven't had any experience with it. All I know is that it's just hated being here. But I do plan to get this out of moss ASAP. I'm gonna get it into pond right away, and we're gonna get it all fixed up. I don't know if I'll eventually chop these leaves off, but a part of me is telling me to just leave it. So I guess we'll see when that comes. You can expect to see this one in a repot in chat either this month, next month, or maybe last month. I really don't know the... Okay. I don't know when each video is coming out when, but anyway, yeah, that's enough of Lux. She's not happy. Next plant up is this Mag Crystal Luxurians from Amanda. It's kind of just living. I think this was the only plant that didn't get spider mites, if I can remember correctly. I don't remember ever seeing spider mites on it. I did treat it for spider mites, but I did not find any spider mites. But, you know, my memory is not the best. It could have had spider mites, I don't remember, but if it did, it didn't really take a beating as bad as my other plants. I do see another leaf on the way on this one, which I'm so excited about because I think this one right now is my favorite hybrid in my entire collection in terms of anthuriums, and I just love it so much. So yeah, I do have this one in tree fern fiber. Roots are looking pretty decent. Because of how small this vessel is, this tree fern fiber dries out so fast. So before I leave for my trip, I might actually need to move this into a larger vessel so that it can hold more water, or I might have to just show up at Alice's door and be like, Auntie Duties, take care of this for me, please. Yeah, it didn't really throw any kind of tantrum. It didn't throw a fit, really, moving it onto this shelf. I only really had it in a greenhouse for a short period of time when I acquired it. Oh, that humidity feels so nice. It's hot in here. Oh, that's nice. I never realized how nice that would feel. Come this way. This way. my plants are like, that's for us. But yeah, not much to say about this one. I am happy to see some new growth on it finally. I do find this one to be a little bit of a slower grower. I don't know if it's because I haven't really been fertilizing and the fact it's also in tree fern fiber, but she's gonna get a good meal today. Gosh, that feels so nice. Wow. This next one is not really an update because I just grabbed this one from Alice. This was one of her propagations, just an anthurium forgetii. She is gifting this one to my sister. This was one of my sister's wish list anthuriums. She's pretty simple in terms of things that she wants, and none of my forgetiis are decent enough to give to her. So yeah, Alice was kind enough to give her one of her props, and this one is so belate. Look at how freaking cute it is. So bumpy, like a turtle. So yeah, just wanted to quickly show that one. My sister is gonna flip when she sees this. Okay, so here's a good one to show you that suffered immensely in this transition onto the shelf. My Polydiflorum hated it. It was growing somewhat okay inside of my greenhouses. Honestly, it was never really thriving. I think the last time that it was thriving was in like 2020, which was a very long time ago. But yeah, all of the roots rotted on this thing. I did manage to get some new roots on it, and I can see even more starting to form. But even though there are new roots on it and this thing is well, like really well hydrated, the leaves never uncurled. Yeah. Polydiflorums are one of my favorite strap leaf anthuriums, pendant anthuriums. I just find like that velvety sheen and just the texture of them to be so freaking lovely. Sorry, again, I am on, it's like second nature to just look for bugs before while I'm talking. This was definitely one of them that took a big hit on this shelf and it just never really bounced back. So I'm fully expecting these to never really unfurl, and I don't know, I guess we'll see. I was tempted to just grab a new Polydiflorum from Lauren and kind of just start over because I feel like this specimen has always freaking hated me. I need to sneeze. Yeah, I feel like this one has just always hated me, and I don't know. It was doing well for like the first few months that I had it, and then it just was like all downhill, and I never really got any leaves longer than this. I find the Vitarifolium to be a world easier than this one. Alice has really good luck growing the Polydiflorum. Hers is really long and strappy. You guys should go check out her channel, and I think she's shown it in a recent video. And see how big and beautiful hers are. Meanwhile, I have these little furled up taquitos that are taunting me. Look how stupid that looks. Anyway, enough of this guy. You're getting too much screen time, dude. I think I would have shown this one in my Echogenera at Vandula video, and this one is the Anthurium exstipulatum. This one was being called something else. A lot of people have not heard that name before because it was being sold through Echogenera as a different name, and I can't remember what it was. But yeah, this one is really like a really cool anthurium. You can see though that it did get hit with spider mites pretty bad. Like in the center of it, you can see that sort of dusty looking texture. But in general, this one has been pretty hardy since the import. Jing did have this for a while and acclimatized it for me before she gave it to me. So can't take any credit. It also has not been living in my plant room long enough for me to give like a thorough sort of background on it. But I will tell you that a new leaf started to emerge and then it stopped. And I'm just thinking, lack of humidity, it just got stuck in this little cataphyll, and you can see where this new cataphyll is now with the old petiole right here. So this is basically useless, that guy, and then a new leaf will come out of here. So this is another one that I want to repot. I don't really want this to get too root bound in moss, and I'm not really seeing a ton of root growth inside of here, so I'm not quite sure moss is the right acclimatization substrate for this. I might even want to try water. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just spitting out thoughts here. I'm not going to go too in-depth about this one because I would have shown this one in my new leaves that I'm excited about video from August. This is my Anthurium papillolaminum hybrid, which is also being called the Anthurium dark phoenix. I don't know what the parentage is. I don't know if anyone knows what the parentage is besides it being some kind of pappy hybrid, which is now the parent of all hybrids these days. The pappy is just getting around. But yeah, this is the newest leaf to unfurl on the shelf. It was a prop. The mother plant, or like the entire plant, died back down to a stump at one point, and it actually died down on the shelf. So this is one of the plants that did not like the transition because it was growing pretty steadily in my exo while I had it in there. And then yeah, the second that I put it on the shelf, it was like, nope, and just dropped all of its leaves. It all turned bright yellow and there was no signs of new growth. So yeah, I just had a stump for a little while, but then it just came back randomly. And now here we are. So I can see some markings from spider mites. This damage here would have been from low humidity when it was unfurling. So that's why I say if you can spray your new anthurium leaves that are growing in low humidity, that will help a lot. You don't even really need to raise the humidity in general in the area that it's living in. Just spray the leaves. Spray the leaves for a few days while it's coming out, and they're gonna love you. And also make sure that you've got some fans and some airflow. You don't want to be spraying and then just stagnant air. You're gonna find a lot of rot. Also not gonna talk too much about this one. Gosh, this thing dries out so fast. It is bone dry and I just watered this. How thirsty can you be? Okay, so anyway, I'm not gonna go too in depth because this was also featured in my new leaves video. This was that new leaf from the video, and it did grow pretty much exactly to where I thought it would be. Like in the new video, it was about, or in that video, the leaf was about right here, and then it grew like a little bit more here, and it got a little bit thicker as well. It was very, very skinny in that video. It was like this skinny in when I was filming. So yeah, it's like pretty standard Vitarifolium leaf now, but this one is just growing in tree fern fiber. But I honestly think I'm going to get it out of here at some point soon because it just dries out so fast. Like I had this whole thing submerged in water like this maybe a week ago, and now it's like bone freaking dry. I did mention in that video that this one did struggle a little bit when I first got it on the shelf. There were two leaves that came before this one. Both of them actually died off. They came out of the cataphyll and then they just turned brown and just rotted. One of them rotted and then one of them just dried to a crisp. So yeah, didn't have the best luck with this one. So this is my first leaf in like 5 months, like my first normal looking leaf in like 5-6 months, which is pretty great. But yeah, I think that it's enjoyed this substrate, but I really am not liking how fast it dries out. I just can't maintain it, and I really think it's because these damn drainage holes. Like my plants in tree fern fiber that are in no drainage, they maintain their water so much longer, but I'm telling you, it's too much. It's too much. Really not much else to say about it besides we did have a little bit of trouble in the beginning, but now I think that she's fully acclimatized to the low humidity here. I think she's fully acclimatized to the light. I also think it helps that since the video went up of the installation of this, I have turned off all of the second bars on here. I used to have 2 bars each, which is way too much, way too much. Why am I talking so fast? I think that I put that many lights because I liked how bright it made my plant room, but now that I have light sort of everywhere now, I'm not really having that issue, and yeah, it actually feels a lot better in this plant room without as many lights on there. It's not as hot as it used to get, and once I turn off the Mars Hydro light, it'll drop temps like even a lot more, and I really think my anthuriums are going to enjoy that because this plant room is just way too hot. Feast your eyes on this. By some freaking miracle, this plant is still alive. This is obviously an Anthurium clarinervium. This is from North Shore Tropicals, but I got it from Erin, and it's one of the plants that I brought home in one of my week of plant to-dos where we like cleaned out Erin's tent. She gave me 2 clarinariums and was like, you're gonna be fine, don't worry about it. One of them died, surprise, surprise. But I still have another one and she's doing okay. Everyone said to treat it like a desert plant, and that's what I've been doing. It's in moss, so it's like always dry, but I have noticed that this one that I wasn't watering as much compared to the other one I had in pond, yeah, that one just died so fast. And this one really does not mind drying out, and it freaks me out how dry it is because it's in moss and it's dry. I just assume the roots are gonna die, but I will eventually get it out of this because what are we looking at here? The roots are coming out of the bottom and they're dead because they've dried up. So another SOS rehab that I've got to do soon, but it's alive. That's what we're clinging on to. She's alive. She's alive. Haven't had a new leaf on the shelf, but it is pushing out an inflow, and once it pushes out far enough, I'm gonna snap it off. You know what I want right now? I want an ice cold beverage. Oh, like a sparkling water or a Sprite. If I have a Sprite, I'm gonna get bloated. Oh, but I'm gonna get bloated with sparkling water too. You know what? Let's just be bloated. Let's just be bloated. All right, hold on. Let me go get a drink. This looks ridiculous. It's so long. That's what she said. All right, moving on. If you laugh at this, this is your warning. I could see you. Especially if you're watching this on your phone or on your computer, I'm watching. If your camera is not covered, I can see you. This is my Anthurium Bessier Af. This is the newest leaf that unfurled in low humidity on this shelf. You can kind of see how nasty and warped it looks because of the low humidity and probably lack of fertilization and the fact it's just living in very dry moss. But this is not what I thought you would roast me on. The thing I thought you would roast me on, and which you might still roast me on, but I'm watching. Don't smile. Don't smile. Don't smile. What is this helicopter? Look, I can't even do a full spin without it chopping my neck. I didn't do this, okay? This was the doing of Jing. If you guys want to know what wizardry and witchcraft she did to make an anthurium grow this way, you talk to her. Because she was like, bless her heart, she was like, I'm going to give you an Anthurium Bessier Af. You can grow it better than me and you want one. And then she gave me these two. She said, here you go. I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I just haven't had the heart to chop it off. I am not one to chop off leaves because they're ugly, because there's a thing called mobile nutrients that move into the rest of the plant when it needs it, when it is time to go. So they've lived here, and I'm just gonna put them behind my back. We're gonna pretend that they don't exist. So this is my Anthurium Bessier. This is kind of the exact thing I've been dealing with and talking about when I talk about growing pains. It's not that all my anthuriums were just dying. It's not that like they all just were pushing out like rotten or dry leaves. Like I have had growth on the shelf and I knew that I would have growth, but like the leaves are just not what you would expect. They do have like the scarring showing you that, you know, it's adjusting, it's acclimatizing. So I've just been riding it out. I haven't been chopping off ugly leaves. I'm leaving them because it's just part of the process. And we're just gonna keep trying and trying and trying until we get a leaf that's just like, oh, I can live here. This is fine. And so what I'm just hoping for is that the next leaf that comes after this one is gonna be a little bit more acclimatized to this environment, and hopefully by then we will have repotted this, because this is not it and it was never it. So this one's definitely getting pon. I just really don't enjoy moss with anthuriums. It's just not, it's not a match made in heaven for me. And I used to grow anthuriums a lot in moss, and I think you'll even hear me sort of going on and on about how I like to do it in some of my earlier YouTube videos. But now that it's been a year, I've had a chance to kind of like explore new substrates and have another year of using pon under my belt, moss is not the answer for anthuriums. I feel like if you're growing moss and anthuriums, a lot of the success comes with if you have it like in a greenhouse where you can just free spray, or you're living somewhere tropical where these grow natively and you can just take your hose or just have the rain come down on it. But otherwise, in controlled environments like this, especially where it's so hot, moss dries out so fast, and anthurium roots are not forgiving once they have completely dried in moss. Luckily, these look very, very much alive still, to my luck, but I'm just not gonna push it. So another repot soon. Last two on this shelf. This one is my Anthurium King of Spades. This one actually had another leaf before this new one, which is still pretty new, but it died. It did sort of the thing that happened with my XD pulatum, I don't even know if I'm saying that right, where it like started to come out and then it got stuck and then it just dried completely in that sheath because it was in there for so long, or in that cataphyll for so long. So I just kind of plucked it off because there was no saving it at all. And then you can see here where I've removed 3 leaves. These are old petioles, which I'm gonna pluck out right now. One of the leaves I plucked off because it just was so bad, you guys. It was like basically on the brink of death, and I just felt like it didn't really have any more nutrients to give the plant, so I just cut it off. It wouldn't fall off for some reason, so I was like, here, let me help you. And then another leaf I chopped off. Okay, that didn't go in. And then the 2 other leaves that I chopped off were so badly infested with spider mites that I was like, no, it was so bad. Like, it engulfed the entire plant, and I can actually still see spider mites on this plant. I would say that my spider mite situation is about 80% resolved on this shelf, which I will take because we were in a very, very bad place like 2 months ago, and you can see the spider mite damage again on here. Just very sort of, the color has drained from the leaf a bit. You can see this dusty looking texture again, and even sort of around the edges there's like little yellow spots. But not only did this one have spider mites, but this is also another one that had thrips. I have not seen any pests on this new leaf, but I do have these like sort of stretch marks on the plant. I am not 100% sure where the stretch marks come from, but part of me is thinking it could be a nutrient thing. Another part of me is thinking that while it was expanding, it was like not getting enough humidity or just like any kind of water around the leaf, and it just kind of scarred it, or like it was stretching, but it didn't have like lubrication. You know, like on your skin, when your skin is really dry and then you like stretch it, it kind of like has that cracking feeling. That is sort of how I imagine something like this would happen to a plant. Again, I'm not very intelligent, okay? I say that all the time. That's just my very uneducated, unresearched guess. I just feel like this one had such a lack of humidity that as the leaf was expanding in very, very dry, hot conditions, it's too dry. It needed some lubrication. I've said the word lubrication way too many times filming videos lately. I really need to replace that word. Anyway, I am almost certain this one has spider mites. This one's so far back, I never get to check on it. So let me just do that quickly. This is my Anthurium crystallinum black, which is not very black. Okay, not seeing anything. That's good. Oh, I have to burp. I'm getting bloated now from that water. Anyway, this is my Anthurium crystallinum black. This one was attacked violently by thrips. Also spider mites, but the thrips on this one was so freaking bad, guys. Like, I audibly shrieked when I saw how bad it was, and I just carried it to the bathroom like this and gave it a good shower, left it in the shower for like 12 days or something like that, just because I was so scared to bring it back. into the plant room. I even showered with this in my shower. I was like, close your eyes, but you're staying in here. And yeah, just sprayed it a bunch. I had some predatory mites that I brought back in, and I haven't seen any thrips on it since then, but a part of me is still kind of expecting to see larvae at some point, and it's touching my face, ew. But you can see back here on this leaf a little bit of the sort of damage that it kind of left behind around the edges of the leaf. It really attacked this leaf, and this leaf had already emerged on it by the time that I found the thrips, but surprisingly there was the least amount of thrips on this leaf than all of the other ones. And I honestly was thinking of just chopping it back down and just keeping this leaf, but just there's a part of me, I don't mind propagating plants. I'll propagate plants all day, I feel no guilt, but I do feel guilt for chopping off leaves that don't need to be chopped off. So I've kept them on here. I don't know if they're gonna come back. I don't know if we've got some thrips eggs living in these leaves, but a part of me is hoping that if there is any, that it comes out before. Oh gosh, why am I on like high alert? I thought there was a spider going down my shirt and it was just this perverted leaf. Just a part of me is hoping that if there is any sort of sneaky eggs inside of the tissue of this leaf, that it hatches before I leave. And I don't know, we'll just see. But anyway, yeah, this leaf unfurled on the shelf, and this was actually, this is the second leaf to emerge on the shelf. This one was the first one to emerge on the shelf, and look how freaking weird it looks. Like, look at this petiole. What am I looking at here? It's like, yeah, the leaf was a little bit like sort of mutated too, is just kind of looks underdeveloped. Like the sinus looks really underdeveloped, but also this one kind of looks underdeveloped as well. It doesn't have like as big of lobes as like, or as big of a sinus as that one. But the leaf is like significantly large, and I'm surprised that it's this large considering I basically never fertilize this thing and it's always dry. This is really heavy. But yeah, besides the pest thing and kind of having some weirdo leaves come in, I feel like maybe after 2 other leaves, we should have somewhat normal looking leaves on it. It is starting to get really root bound in there, but I'm just not gonna worry about it. I'm gonna let that be maybe September me's problem, because I just don't have it in me to repot a plant that large. But look, we did it. Shelf's empty, besides this one prop here that I have no clue what it is. Didn't label it as usual. But now we are ready to water. So yeah, let's move back. We're on to the last shelf, and it's a hefty one. Or maybe there's just a lot of big plants up there. This is one of my Crystal Mag Forgetii hybrids that graduated from my propagation area where all my seedlings are onto this shelf. And honestly, there are a few seedlings that are starting to, oh gosh, I think that one's bigger than this one. Some of them are bursting out of the propagation trays. Like, they needed to be repotted into their own pots like 6 months ago. But anyway, yeah, this is one of them that I took out. I just kind of wanted to see how it would do out of I wanted to see how it would do out of higher humidity. And so far, nothing really out of the ordinary. It seems to just be, hi, looking the same as it was. Did you want to come say hi really quick? Come here. Oh my god, I'm gonna get dog fur all over me. I'm wearing all black too. Come here, sweetheart. Oh, I missed you, you little puppy. Hi everyone, my name is Fudge and I'm a good boy. I love you. I know, he's been trying to summon me for a nap for like 3 hours. Trust me, kid. I would much rather be in bed with you, cuddling, watching scary movies. Do you love scary movies? Do you love scary movies? Which one is your favorite one? Do you like Scooby-Doo? Ghostbusters? I wouldn't really consider that a scary one, but you do like it. You want to tell everyone how your day is gone? How many naps have you taken today? Get a good look at that face, guys. That's the face of a perfect puppy. You guys know the stinky dog smell? Like when you smell it on other people's dogs, you're like, ew, but then when you smell it on your own dog, it's like the best smell in the whole wide world. I just love it. I want to bottle it. I want to like get his smell in a bottle and then just preserve it forever so that I can always smell it when I want. I did that with my niece's onesie, with Millie's onesie. I have a onesie from when she was a newborn, and I put them into Ziplocs like a freak, and I just smell them every once in a while for a little boost of serotonin. It just reminds me of when she was a baby. All right, you gotta let me finish this because the faster that I finish, the faster I can jump into bed. How's that sound? Thumbs up? Thumbs up, dude. Okay, say bye everyone. Love you so much. Love you so, so much. Love you so, so much. You're my best friend in the whole wide world. Yeah. Okay. He's like, so I regret coming in here. Oh my gosh. Puppy dog. No regrets. Those were good cuddles. Oh my gosh, I'm just jiggling my top 5 in front of the camera to censor that out. Bleep. Anyway, so yeah, that's just one of my seedlings. Nothing too cray-cray, just wanted to see how it would do. This one is apparently an Anthurium Cyranoid Velvet something. This one was actually the first Anthurium leaf. Okay, this one was actually the first Anthurium leaf to successfully emerge unscathed on this shelf. I know it's not very big, but I was just so glad to see any kind of growth that looked like a normal leaf. When this one came out, it was like a sign for me that was just like patience pays off. And it really does take a few leaves sometimes to get a plant fully acclimatized to a new environment. There is going to be that period of growing pains, but you just have to believe in yourself, follow your dreams, and never give up. So that's what we did with this one, and yeah. What is that? So you're growing wildly. This is an anthurium. This is a philodendron. Is she okay? I think this is a philodendron pedatum. I don't know. Jane just dropped it off one day and was like, here. And it's so cute. I do think that I'm gonna chop and prop this thing though. Like, we've got an empty node here. This one just kind of ran for one node, so I think I'll chop it right here and give the bottom to my sister because she really likes these kinds of plants. and then I'll keep the top for myself. And I don't know, I kind of thought about getting this one on a pole, but then I was like, how cute would that be to have a little bush of it? So if I propagate 3 nodes and then just plant them all together, I feel like that would be so adorable until they all start growing really tall. Then I'm gonna be like, why did I do this? But yeah, this one has been living in my tent for, is my arm okay? I had it in the tent for like 2 months, and then it started getting really long and was like kind of touching other plants, and so I took it out and I just shoved it on this shelf, and it really never stopped growing. So this wasn't one of them that I felt was stressed out at all, that did not enjoy living in low humidity. Typically plants like this that are just not velvety, that kind of just grow wildly, like the Florida Greens, Florida Beauties, I find that those do pretty well in low humidity and even higher temperatures. So no issues with this, but obviously I've just kind of neglected it, which is why it's growing like this. But sometimes I really like when plants have like a wild growth pattern. Like a small part of me wants to put this on my shelf in my living room and just leave it like this, but obviously get it repotted and then just kind of let it grow wherever it wants. So I guess we'll see. I'm not a huge fan of putting everything on poles, even though I love to see the growth and the full potential of certain plants. I feel like this is not one that I'm like, I want to see it get really big. I kind of just enjoy it as it is and much prefer it growing this way than just growing up a pole. So anywho, no issues with that one. If my nose keeps running, I'm gonna sue someone. Next one is my big girl Anthurium crystallinum. I don't know if this is a crystal black or just a regular crystal, but this is one of my oldest ones. She is the one that's had like a million different growth points on the stem after I cleaned the chonk. It's kind of become one of my favorites, to be honest. I really love seeing this leaf on my shelf. It's just so big and gorgeous. And I can see that another one is on the way. I actually had one leaf before this one. This is the first leaf after propagation. So the leaf that it grew from died off on the shelf. But these two came out of their caterpillars pretty unscathed, besides this gaping hole. I did have to help both of these out with a sprayer and my earwax scraper. So this isn't one that I can just kind of like leave and not really worry about. I do kind of have to keep an eye on it when a new leaf is coming out, because both times they got stuck so bad that the petiole was completely in half and I was scared that it was gonna snap. So no regrets helping them out. Both of the leaves look really beautiful, besides some minor cosmetic damages. But I do think that this is one that I have to keep sort of babying a little bit before it's kind of just growing on its own in these conditions. But I'm willing to do the work, just because this thing has just been such a trooper for me throughout the harsh winter it was living out in my living room, and she hasn't been repot in so long, living with no drainage holes, not really fertilizing a ton. So hopefully this next leaf will be pretty sizable. I'm hoping for something larger than this, except if it is bigger than this, I think I'm gonna have to move her off of this shelf and maybe into the living room, because I don't know if I'm gonna have enough space. We'll have to see. So many people told me the idea of this one multiple times, and there are just certain plants that don't penetrate this acorn up here. They just kind of float in and float out. Here's a good example though of an anthurium struggling in low humidity. Typically if you had enough sort of water around the leaf, the film on this one would just kind of unfurl and melt off like pretty easily. But when you have low humidity, it often gets stuck like this. So some people are divided on whether you should help leaves, and I honestly just feel like it's up to you. It's up to your confidence level. Do you feel like the plant is going to recover on its own, or do you think it's going to completely snap? I'll tell you right now, I 100% help plants that I feel are on the brink of destruction or not being able to bounce back from it. So in a situation like this where it's just being held on by this little piece of tissue here, you want to make sure not to cut into any cataphyll if it's tall, I don't see any here, so I'm just gonna cut right here and free the leaf. You can even go a step further and wet this leaf and then slide this off. But I think that I'll just give it a good spray after and leave it and just see if it naturally sort of removes it. Other than that, that's pretty much as I would help it. But that's sort of, again, what I was dealing with when first growing out on this shelf. I obviously wasn't checking the shelf every single day, so I couldn't check to see if new leaves were coming out. And if I didn't catch it early enough, then they would just get stuck like that, and then they would just stay like that basically indefinitely until it just dried up and rotted or just died, straight up died. But I am happy to see a new leaf. This one actually emerged on this shelf. There was another one that emerged on this shelf as well, but that one was really mangled. It had a hard time coming out of the caterpillar as well. Half of the leaf was kind of ripped. So this is the first one on this plant that has been able to unfurl pretty easily. I did have to keep spraying the new leaf, but I didn't have to help it with a scraper or anything. What else is there to say? Oh, I did have maybe 3 other leaves on here, but they were attacked so badly by spider mites as well. And I sort of just have to assess, if I feel the spider mites are so bad on certain leaves, is it worth keeping for the nutrients in the plant that are already being depleted by the spider mite? Or should I just chop it off and just let the plant figure itself out? So I just made the call, chopped off all 3 leaves. And I'm kind of glad that I did that, because this one here, I'm not seeing any spider mites on it. So far, so good. Do you want to hang out with me while I finish? We're almost done. I wish he could sit right here, but he's gonna break through these bins in a hot second. You could sit right here. I swear I'm almost done. Give me 15 minutes. Buddy, are you okay? Are you alright? That's okay. I shouldn't put that there. That's not your fault. That's not your fault. Did you get scared? Did you get a little scared? Okay, come here. I know. It's okay. It's okay. You just got a little bit scared. That's okay. Okay. Just say you got a little bit scared. You got a little bit scared. That's okay. It's not your fault. Nothing broke. As long as you're okay, right? That's the only thing that matters. You can break anything in this room that you want. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I only care about you. You could eat all these plants, and I would only care about you. You might get a little bit sick, though. Love you. He's so sweet, guys. Truly, the only reason that he's come here is because he legit wants... If I get up right now, he will lead me to the bed. I know, but you know what? It's already 5:30. It's a little bit too late for a nap now. I missed my window. But I can go to bed early. How about that? You want me to go to bed early? I can go to sleep at 9 o'clock and we can watch a movie. Do you want to watch your favorite movie, Scooby-Doo? You can watch Scooby-Doo. You can bark at the TV again. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. I'm such a freak. Okay, how about you go to Daddy? Where's Dad? Go to Daddy. Oh my gosh, this plant is so thirsty. It's so light. Okay, so here we have my anthurium, the tarifolium. As you can see, she's seen better days. She's definitely yellowed a lot, but she's always been living in low humidity. I've never had this one in a greenhouse ever since I brought it home. This one also got attacked pretty badly by spider mites and thrips, and the damage has been done. But you know, this plant is just kind of a trooper. I have been wanting to peel back this stem so bad. Look at all these little things that can be pulled off, but I'm waiting for a repot because I want to give you guys some crunchy ASMR. But just looking at it, my teeth are clenched. Let me just do one. I'll do this one. This is an old petiole. I missed again. Wow, this vessel this vessel should be so much heavier. But yeah, it's very thirsty. You can kind of see by how curled they are. This should not be curled at all. But I don't really have much to say about this one. I think the only difference that this one, how come I can't talk? The only thing that this one experienced that was different than being on the shelf is that it's so much hotter in here. It's a lot cooler in my living room. It's drying out a lot, and this is my super duper duper old soil. I potted this probably, I don't remember. It's been so long. I don't think I had this YouTube channel yet when I repotted this. So this is one that I want to give some love. I actually think I might chop it down a little bit because this stem looks so long and gnarly, and it's just a lot. And I had a lot of luck, obviously, growing that little anthurium vitarifolium from a little propagation. So I kind of want to start over again and just see how it does from start to finish, just growing specifically on this shelf. Because I don't know, a part of me kind of thinks the rest of these leaves are just going to yellow off. Here's something interesting though. This is the newest leaf on this anthurium. Didn't quite develop all the way, but like, look how kind of like weird and wonky that looks. Like the texture of it looks very sort of virusy and sickly. I am gonna be honest with you, I don't really know what that's about. I don't know if it's because of the thrips and spider mites, but this doesn't quite look like pest damage to me. It's like, I don't know. I've never seen anything like it on my anthuriums, and it just feels really like wrinkly skin. I don't know what that's about. It's super dark, like it almost looks blue. But again, I think that like this situation could be a lot better. The roots look very freaking dry because I'm a terrible person. This one's like snapped all the way. I'm just gonna chop it off. Poor thing. Such a pretty leaf too, besides the fact that half of it is melted off. And I missed again. Do I see a new leaf coming on this one? No. Got this one from my friend Carmen. I did have this one growing in a greenhouse for a little bit, but not like a ton of time. It quickly outgrew that space, so I was like, you know what, let's just take it out and I'll figure it out. But it was growing really, really well in my care until kind of recently. Like all of this white just started melting off, and I suspected it was like, I don't know, like a nutrition thing again, because it's just the whites that are melting off and the green leaves on here are like pretty okay. Is this a new leaf? It's so soft. Well, I think it is. Cool. So anyway, there's a new leaf on it and it looks really good. So I'm kind of hoping that as this plant grows and progresses, I'm kind of hoping for more of these kinds of leaves, because I actually find this to be a lot more beautiful than this. I think most people will argue that the white variegation is nicer than the green, but if I'm going to be dealing with this all the time, I just don't really know if that's going to be my jam. But again, maybe I should be fertilizing this thing more often, and I don't know. I want to repot it because I don't like it in this tall vessel. It just looks really dumb. I think my thought process, as I mentioned in the other video, is that I wanted the straps to be higher because it was kind of just like leaning on the shelf. But now that I can just hang it over the shelf or just prop it up, I'm not really going to have that issue. So yeah. But as you can see, this is the newest leaf, and this one has never had issues unfurling out of the cataphil, regardless of low humidity. I've never even really needed to spray, or I don't think I've ever sprayed or helped this one out. This one just kind of knows what to do. So in that way, I'm very like grateful for it, that it's like resilient that way. But again, we're dealing with a little bit of this weird sort of melting off slash like cells bursting and stuff. All of my plants up there are so thirsty because of that Mars Hydro light. I watered this one like 6 days ago and it's already so limp, and you really don't ever want your anthuriums to dry out when it has an emergent leaf. So this one is kind of has me on high alert right now, but just doing a quick inspection because this one had thripsises so freaking bad. Oh my gosh, I don't even know why I didn't chop off all the leaves. I'm not even joking. But anyway, this is my very sad, so sad Anthurium hoffmanii X. I'm just happy it's alive, but I have struggled with this one so much. It's like a pest magnet. I don't know why pests love this this plant. Like even before when I had this growing in an exo, out of all of my plants, it was only this one that had thrips. None of the other plants had thrips. It was just this one. It was so freaking random. But yeah, I need to water this. It's bone freaking dry. I don't know if this is myco at work. Like all of this like moldy stuff in here. I don't feel very threatened by it, but at the same time, I don't know enough about the mycorrhizal inoculants and like what it looks like under the substrate once it starts like working its magic. But anyway, this is it. This is the new leaf. Didn't have any trouble emerging out of the sheath, but it is just very thirsty. I think this is the only leaf I've had on this shelf. I actually have not had much growth on this plant at all. I think the last time that this new leaf grew was probably even before I got the shelf up, I think. I can't remember, but it's been a minute. It hasn't really been a fast grower for me, but I just really want to water this thing. That's like all I'm thinking about right now. Okay, so this is actually the last one I'm going to show you. The other plant that I have here is my Florida green that I repotted in that big Florida green repot video. It's doing okay. I mean, it could be doing better. It's very thirsty, but it's kind of become a permanent fixture on this shelf. It's like really secured on there, and I even think one of the aerial roots are starting to grab onto the shelf, so I don't want to move it just for the sake of this video. This is the potentially anthurium papillolaminum hybrid, maybe with a queen. I don't know. I thought that it could be a Verroquianum hybrid based on this leaf and based on this leaf, but then it pushed out this one, and now I'm getting like Pappy Regale something. I don't know. I just don't really see queen anymore. And this leaf surprised me. I did talk about this in my new leaf video, but to go from this to that, I was just like stunned, seriously stunned. And I'm not gonna just repeat everything I said in that video, but this is the second leaf to unfurl on this shelf. This one was the first leaf to unfurl on the shelf. Didn't really have any issues. We had a little bit of drying because it is just, I think that this is really just in husk. I don't know, like husk and moss or something. I do eventually want to move this to passive hydro, but I've just been waiting for this one to kind of completely harden off, and it's taking a kind of a long time, but it's a good size leaf. It's pretty large. I think Lauren has this hybrid in her shop, and it's massive and it's beautiful. The sinus is like this big. It's crazy. So I'm definitely holding on to this one. I actually love this plant so much, and it's been pretty okay in low humidity. It's been okay even though I've let it dry out so much. But guys, I have to repot like, I don't know, at least like 7 or 8 plants on this shelf. I've been wanting to repot for a while, but the new leaves sort of keep coming, so I can't find a good window to repot. And I just find that when you do anything to an anthurium while an emergent leaf is coming, it's like they just absolutely throw a tantrum. And there was that one video where I was literally like had a major lapse in judgment, and my one brain cell was just like hibernating, and I had pollinated the inflow, and I freaking propagated the plant. I was like, oh yeah, I'm trying to make berries, so I'm just gonna like uproot this thing and chop it and just stress it out, and the inflow just died completely. Surprise, surprise. But anyway, I'm just trying to not do anything to any plants that have an emergent leaf. The end. Let's just get them watered because they are so, that top shelf was bad. Okay guys, so that was the entire shelf. As I'm filming this, it kind of feels like the things that I was saying was kind of repetitive, but really it's been spider mites, it's been thrips, it's been low humidity and emergent leaves, you know, struggling out of the sheath. But there has been some good and there has been some very bad. And I just feel like it's, I don't know, I thought it would be cool to kind of take you guys along the process because this is all still very new to me in terms of growing this many anthuriums outside of high humidity. Overall, I will say that I do really like it and I don't regret it, because although we're in this sort of weird stage right now where they're still kind of getting used to it, I'm not having these big ol' like beautiful leaves, and you know, I'm still kind of trying to see where these stand living in these conditions, which I'm always tweaking. I'm just so glad that I'm not dealing with fungal stuff anymore. Like, you know, like the yellowing around the edges and the little yellow spots, like that plagued my anthurium collection for so long, and it stressed me out. It honestly stressed me out. So now my stress is like new growth being able to come out, which I would much rather have that problem than the other problem. So absolutely zero regrets moving my anthuriums outside of a controlled greenhouse. I don't think I would ever grow anthuriums back inside of a greenhouse after sort of, you know, like some of them look really crispy and gross, but they don't look really super fungally like they used to. So that's been a huge stress off my shoulders. I think in the next video that I'll do in 6 months will be a little better because I'll have this video to reference what the plants look like, if they are still with us, of course, and we can get some good like comparison on how they've done over the next 6 months. And I do plan to try and get this room a little bit cooler for my sanity, for my armpits, and for my anthuriums, because my philodendrons are all pretty much inside of controlled greenhouses. They're in my exo, they're in my tent, they're in my exos, my Millsbow, and I'm not really worried about temps for them. It's just my anthuriums. Like, I just really think it's too hot on that shelf. So still have a little bit of tweaking to do. I think eventually I'd like to add more fans along this side and just kind of get airflow moving around the entire space. I originally wanted to have sort of a permanent fan in my plant room that could just kind of circulate the entire room, but this room looks larger than it is. I'm not joking. Like, even when my mom came over, she was like, oh, it's so tiny in here. And yeah, it just looks way larger than it is in real life. So I really only have like a certain amount of space like right here that I can work with to move around. And yeah, I just feel like having a big fan in the center of the room or even just kind of off to the side is gonna just, it's gonna annoy me. So more computer fans is a little bit more manageable, but we'll see when I get those up. I probably should do it soon because it's so hot right now, but I need to worry more about the repotting, to be honest. But yeah, that was it. Hopefully I wasn't too repetitive and hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did like it, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up because it helps Pudge and I a lot on YouTube. Stay tuned next February, 2023, for the next plant shelf update, although you'll see this shelf kind of all around my my videos, but I won't do like a dedicated video for this plant shelf until February. Thank you guys for watching another video. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you to all of the old and the new subscribers. Love you guys so much. Big hugs, and I will see you in the next one.